Welcome back to Take a Leap and Transform, a Neurodiversity Journey. I'm your host, Joseph K. Muscat. Are you ready to take a leap with me? Are you inclusive? Are you really? This is quite a question I engage in with businesses, with their employers, human resources, and managers. And I tend to find that they're hiring people who generally look like them, same backgrounds, education, similar fields. It doesn't always look as inclusive. Or maybe I'm just being too basic. Then they'll dive into the aspect, that they provide flexible working, remote working. They provide them with a budget to go buy with what they need. They say that they have an open door policy. So if they have any problems, they can always come to them. Do they really? And then the argument dives into where they feel the crux of employment is all about, which is doing the job. But that's not the question. No one's debating the aspect that the individual shouldn't be able to do the job and shouldn't be rescinded from doing their job. That's not the question. Without a doubt, they need to do the job. They need to do what they were hired for. That is not in dispute. Of course, they need to do the job. But this is how businesses and employers tend to drive the argument, that it's, yes, we're inclusive, but they need to do the job. But that's not the question. The question is, are you inclusive? Being inclusive should not interfere with them being able to do their job. Once again, that is not the issue. Now, when we take a look at the first 3 points of this discussion, they give the impression that they are inclusive. But when you look deeper, they don't really know what it means to be inclusive. They're unable to see the benefits of inclusion. They're unable to see who they are excluding. And they can't see how current ideologies actually interfere with performance. Because at the end of the day, what we are talking about here is removing the barriers that interfere with one's ability to perform in the job. And when there is a lack of inclusion or the disguise of inclusion, it actually interferes with their ability to do the job. And that is something that they can't see. So, are you examining who's left out and who's frankly hiding? Are you looking at the impact and how it has on your goal and the need for performance? Are you going out of your way within reason to create inclusion, foster a culture that welcomes and engages and supports neurodivergent talent? Are you talking about and purposely tapping into the benefits that inclusion offers? If you're truly inclusive and your concern is about doing the job, which again is not in question, what you need to ask yourself is, as business owners, managers, and employers, what barriers are you removing that will enable them to do their job, to perform? Hey, listeners, I want to tell you about this wonderful app that I've been using called Focus Bear. Focus Bear is a productivity and health and well-being app designed by and for neurodiversity professionals like you. The app works on PC, Mac, and mobile devices. I personally found Focus Bear so effective because they are designed by engineers who have a lived experience in being neurodivergent. So what does Focus Bear do? Well, it removes all distractions and assists you in developing new habits. How? The app is completely customizable. You can set up multiple profiles to block various apps and sites with task-oriented focus. For example, you'll be able to block all sites and apps but the word processing app, and you do so for 2 hours so you can focus on completing that task. What about the habit forming assistance? Well, you set your days in 3 areas: morning, micro breaks, and afternoon. In each area, you want to form some new habits, and you get to set the days and time durations for each habit. For example, in the morning, you want to meditate for 5 minutes, read for 10 minutes, and work out for 15 minutes. Focus Bear will block either all apps and websites and or allow select the apps you choose for each of those time durations. To further help motivate you in each of those sections, you can embed an inspiring video like a 15-minute workout video that you can work out with. With my time using Focus Bear, I've been able to set block times of focus to complete tasks. And at the same time, I've been able to reestablish focus center habits and create new ones. The best part is I get to build those habits by being able to extend or shorten the timers. I encourage you to try Focus Bear to assist in getting focus and to build the habits you've always wanted. When we go back and take a look at hiding, well, they're masking, they're overcompensating. And eventually, this will lead into burnout. Hiding and masking and burnout obviously interferes with their ability to do the job. If they're forced to hide, then you're not inclusive as you think you are. And for this to happen, we once again need to take a look at fostering that culture where inclusion is part of the business plan, part of performance, and part of deliverables. That requires rethinking on what performance is and what we can do to improve performance. So I ask you, are you inclusive? And what can we do to assist you to become more inclusive? And I quite often, use the very simple example that I've pointed out in many other podcasts is to create a spreadsheet. Take a look at what your current policies and practices and procedures are. Who is it benefiting and who's it not? Take a look at what changes that you can put in place and have a conversation with those who are neurodivergent, who are open about being neurodivergent, or bring in a consultant like me, a third party. They bring on a different set of eyes, a different set of experiences to help you navigate that way, to ensure that you are inclusive, to remove those barriers, to improve performance so they can do their job. Well, this brings us to another end of me thinking out loud. And I thank you for listening to me. And I hope you share this with your employers and managers and human resources to start thinking about really being inclusive and what that really means. Hey, listeners, I encourage you to continue supporting this podcast so I can bring you more amazing content. You can do so by visiting my Patreon page, where you can connect with me more directly with several options. Till next time, take a leap and transform.